It's just unbelievable. So listen, I have a few things going on here. I am trying to set up with like a StreamYard where I can do all of my Facebooks and Instas and YouTubes all at the same time. However, I don't have it yet. So I am at the moment looking at several different screens. Plus, I am also recording a podcast at the moment. So there's a lot going on. So if I'm not necessarily staring right into your eyeballs, that is why. It's because I'm trying to separate my attention between 3 different screens. So listen, I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. It is afternoon here in Florida. And I am here to talk about sensitivity. So I was born or am an empath. I don't know how long this has been going on, but I'm assuming it's been from childhood because from as far back as from when I can remember, everybody who I crossed paths with has at one time told me that I was too sensitive. My parents told me that, my friends told me that, many boyfriends have told me that, and I never knew what was wrong with me. I never knew why I was so sensitive. I never understood why I cried so easily. I never understood why the moment that I thought or felt as if I was not doing something correctly, why I would literally start crying. And this is always a conversation that I have with people when I first meet them is, you know, whenever a sensitive subject comes up, I always have to preface with, hey, I'm really sorry, but I am probably going to start crying, or I feel as if I'm going to start crying, or this is really uncomfortable, but I'm going to start crying. I try as hard as I can to not to like hold it in, and I just can't. And it took me years, probably maybe 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, for me to realize that the reason I am the way I am is because I am an empath. I'm not crazy. I'm not overly sensitive. I'm not overly dramatic. I am an empath, and empaths in general are sensitive people. So because of that, I have the ability to be able to feel tones of voices. I have the ability to be able to feel other people's energy, sadness, anger, frustration at a heightened level. So because I can feel it at a heightened level, what a person believes they are giving off as just a normal vibe, my senses feel it tremendously. And for the majority of my life, I felt as if this was a horrible thing. I felt as if this was something to hide, something to be ashamed of. And the reason that is because people tend to get frustrated with empaths, and a lot of times empaths tend to have low self-esteem. And the reason that they have low self-esteem a lot of times is because their entire life they've been told that they're too sensitive, or they're too weak, or they need to build a thicker skin or a thicker shell to be able to take these brunt forces that are hitting us. And not to say that it isn't a good idea to work on your strength, work on your power, work on your confidence and your ability to be able to take criticism, your ability to be able to have conversations with your boss or people who are above you, I guess, or who are telling you what to do. It's a good idea to be able to work on, building that strength and building that confidence. However, I do want to touch briefly on the importance of empaths. I want to talk about how our sensitivity or our so-called weakness is not something to feel disempowered about. It's actually something to be praised. It's actually somewhat of a superpower in some empaths. We definitely have the ability to be able to sense. We have the ability to be able to absorb other people's feelings and thoughts. And the reason that individuals like us are so important is because we are the ones that care. We are the ones that notice when you're upset. So a lot of times, individuals, especially younger individuals who don't necessarily know how to communicate, who don't necessarily know how to open their mouths when something is the matter or speak with their words, we are capable of actually seeing emotion on somebody's face. We're capable of seeing emotion in people's eyes, in their tone of voice, in the crack of their voice. Things that a normal person wouldn't necessarily notice, we are hypersensitive to. And because of that, we are able to sit quietly, we're able to listen, we're able to ask questions to be able to draw out conversations. For those of you that have this superpower, I know 100% that you have been in circumstances where you are the sounding board. You are the person that people come to. You are the person that people feel comfortable with. You are the person that people say, oh my gosh, I've never even told this story to anyone before, but for some reason I just feel comfortable around you. Or I've never thought that just meeting you this fast that I would have shared something like that with you because I've just met you. Those type of individuals, if you are here listening to me now, that is the story of your life, just like it's the story of my life. And the reason that is because empaths in general can hear the way people look. They can sense it. They can sense your tone. They can sense an eye flicker or your change in pace, speaking, change of how you're sitting. A look can tell wonders. And we're really, really good at being quiet. We're really good at listening. We're really good at being able to take the time to pull the story up. Explain yourself and communicate. Simply say to them, stop bothering me, go away. Ooh, that's interesting. So those of you in my narcissist group, if you have a narcissist that you're living with, a great thing to say, you're bothering me. You're bothering me. Go away. One of the things that I used to say is, something, you're messing up my world right now, or you're shitting in my world right now. Basically meaning like, this is my world and this is my universe and you are causing a ton of turmoil in my life right now. So get out of my world, get out of my life right now. Then immediately tell yourself, my empathy is my strength. My empathy is my strength. Remember to continuously remind yourself that your empathy is your strength. There is absolutely no reason to ever feel a disempowered feeling about your empathy. Now, as I've said before, it's important to make sure that you hone in on it a little bit, which is what I've done throughout the years. I remember when I was younger, 5, 10, 15, probably even 20, where I was way, 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 way crazy, overly sensitive, a little bit on the insane side. And I've honed in on it. And especially now that I've educated myself on it, especially now that I know what it is, especially now that I know why these feelings occur and when they occur, it becomes a lot easier for me to kind of use it as a strength versus using it as or not using it, but just having it as a weakness. Saying no to these inner and outer negative voices will build your self-esteem. And that is ultimately what empaths need to work on, is their confidence. A lot of times what the issue is with empaths, as obviously to get rid of the sensitivity, to be able to hone in on people and understand and read people, is a whole nother superpower in itself. But when it comes to actually being able to hold your own as an empath and not feel as if everyone around you is constantly criticizing you, constantly putting you down, constantly critiquing you. It's really important for you to grow your inner confidence. The more confident you are as an individual, the stronger your ability to be able to use your empathy as a strength becomes better. And this is one thing that I probably have really honed in on over the last 5 years. Now, do I still get sensitive? Of course I do. Do I still cry? Of course I do. Do I still cry when I don't want to be crying? All the time. But the amount of confidence and self-esteem that I have built within myself over the last 5 or so years is tremendous. And the way that I did this was educating myself. I am constantly reading, constantly watching, listening podcasts, YouTube videos, blogs, books, anything that I can get my hands on as far as really taking in information, really working on my mental and my emotional strength so that my confidence is higher. The better I can speak, the better I can hold myself, the better that I can hold my own in a conversation so that when somebody is coming at me, I can very easily be able to, I don't want to say combat, but be able to stand up for myself or be able to set somebody, I don't want to say set them in their place, but I guess set them in their place in my world. Now you have to remember, empaths are a lot more sensitive than other people. So sometimes setting somebody, in a correct position in your world is going to look different than it does for another type of person who's, let's say, a narcissist. You can kind of say a bunch of stuff to a narcissist and they won't necessarily understand. But if you speak the same way you do to a narcissist, to a person who is an empath, it's two totally different people. And once you start to really realize the different types of individuals, obviously there aren't just empaths and narcissists. There's a range of different kinds of personalities and individuals in the world that hit all sorts of levels. But you have to really hone in on that. And the better educated that you are with the different types of individuals and the different types of personalities and how you can speak to certain people and who you need to put in their place and who you don't need to put in their place, becomes a lot easier for you as you are educating yourself. Now, the last thing that it says here is, I will not buy into any belief that doesn't affirm the worth of my sensitivity, my compassion, and my love. I will be empathetic in my own life and advocate these values in the world. And that, my friends, is why people who have empathy are ultimately superhuman. Kidding, of course, but almost. So listen, I'm sure that you guys have stories to tell. I'm sure that you guys have situations in your life where you were or are overly sensitive with certain people. And this is the thing. You might want to do some research on who these people are in your life. If you are finding yourself extra sensitive around certain individuals in your life, whether it's your father or your mother or your spouse or your uncle, it might very well be that you are a highly sensitive empath dealing with a non-sensitive narcissist. Be aware of that. If you are unsure what a narcissist is, do some research into it. And a lot of times you will find that the people that are triggering you the worst are or do have different levels of narcissism within them. And a lot of times this is why you are sensing a higher amount of criticism from them, is because these are the type of people. And unfortunately for empaths, a lot of times we are attracted to or attract narcissists into our lives. So the people who are telling you that you're being too sensitive, the people that are calling you weak, A normal person is not going to say that you're weak or that you're too sensitive. The type of person that is going to be okay with saying that to you is going to be somebody who has narcissistic traits. So be aware of that. Anybody who has come to you and they have stated to you, oh my God, you're being so sensitive. Be careful with those people. Dig in, find out the traits. If you guys don't know, my YouTube channel under her version has a list. It has probably 3 or 4 YouTube videos of all of the traits of a narcissist. There's a lot of them. I have been with narcissists that literally have every single trait, relationship-wise and friendship-wise. And I did not know this. I was absolutely going insane for the first 30 years of my life because I didn't know this. But see, you educate yourself. And that's what I've been doing for over a decade now. I have put tons and tons of time and effort into making sure that I'm educating my mind, because the more educated that I get, the better that I can hold myself as a person, and the more that I can share with you guys and let you guys know what's going on so that you yourselves can become more educated and be able to stand taller and more confident within your world. Does that make sense? So don't be misunderstood. Embrace the fact that you are an empath. Do not allow yourself to feel overwhelmed or to feel as if you need to be juggling other people's emotions. That's one thing that empaths have a tendency of doing. I think I was touching on that, but then I changed the subject. So now that you're learning, you're here obviously because you saw the word empath, you relate to it, you kind of know what it is. So you're thinking to yourself, I think I know what this is. And you're kind of going down this route and you're educating yourself. You are going to realize that the amount of people in your life that are sucking energy out of you is endless, unless you get educated. Once you get educated on this, it's very, very important to make sure that you are taking those people out of your life slowly and only letting them into your life if you feel comfortable letting them into your life. And then even if you feel comfortable letting them into your life, then you also have to take into consideration how much time you have here in life. And if you have listened to anything that I have said before, it is the fact that we have approximately 30,000 days on this earth. That is it. 30,000 days. So how much of your time are you going to want to give to other people who are sucking life out of you? Now, obviously, there's a difference if somebody is really needing your help or really needing your support. Got it. But every empath knows that they have individuals in their life that are continuously sucking energy from them, on the phone constantly, drama all the time, every weekend drama. Every time something happens, you get a phone call and it's an earful. They never let you talk. You never get to share all the crap that's happening in your life. These are energy suckers. They suck everything out of you. And it is your responsibility, now that you are educating yourself, it is your responsibility to cut those relationships off. It is not their responsibility. It is not their fault. You are opening up your world to them. They need somebody to listen to them, and you have opened up their world. Of course they're going to take advantage of you. Of course they are. And it is not their fault. It is 100% your fault. And until you take ownership of that, and until you can decide, hey, listen, I don't have to pick up the phone. Hey, listen, I can literally make up an excuse 10 minutes into the conversation and say that I have to leave. You can actually do that. And until you start taking the power back as an empath, as a powerful empath, it is 100% your fault and 0% their fault. It isn't. It just isn't. Believe me, I have lived with narcissists in my life, and I went through a whole phase where like it's all their fault and they're wasting all of my time and they take, and all I do is give, and it's a woe is me and a victim mentality, and that is pure false. Pure false. If you are giving of your time, your power, and your energy to anyone on this earth, it is 100% your fault. You do not have to meet up with them. You do not have to talk to them. You do not have to communicate, text, nothing. You don't have to anything. You can literally cut people out of your life. You don't even have to have an explanation for it. You don't even have to have a reason why. They say, hey, listen, can you go out this weekend? I'd love to blab your ear off about how shitty my husband is, or how crappy my wife is, or how my boss sucks so much. You can literally just say, ooh, no thanks. And you don't have to have a reason why. You don't have to have a reason why you don't want to meet up, or why you can't take the phone call, or why you can't answer a text back. See, this is your empathy creeping up and using your empathy, I guess, against you. You don't have to do that. You don't have to have a reason. You don't have to have a reason as to why you don't want to give any more of your energy up. You don't have to say like, oh, I have this thing going on, or oh, my wife wants me to do this, or you don't have to say anything. You can literally just say no. Now, obviously, if you want to give the excuse, you can, but notice that the reason you feel as if you need to give an excuse is your caring, is your empathy. That's what that is. That's what that is. Really start honing in on that, and really start understanding what that is and what that means for you, as far as your confidence, as far as your ability to be able to live on this earth to fulfill your purpose and not to fix everybody else's issues, especially because you guys know this, especially if they're not even going to take your advice. I can't even tell you how many hours of my life I've wasted on the phone with some people, with them telling me their whole thing, and then you give them honest, good, wholesome advice that's like heavy and makes sense, and then they don't even take the advice. Then you get another call saying, hey, listen, I listened to all the things that you said. I didn't do any of them, but now I have this new problem because I didn't do what you told me to do. So now can you listen to me blabber on for another 2 or 3 hours and then give me more advice on now how to fix what I didn't do previously? And there's absolutely no way to confirm that I'm actually going to use this advice also. That actually happens. And if you are an empath, you know that this happens 100%. So listen, are empaths too sensitive? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They are powerful. They are confident. They are super caring. They can feel things that other people can't feel. They can feel visuals. They can tell how you feel by the way that you look. That is a superpower. That is something to feel so excited about, not to feel weak about. So anytime anybody in your life going forward is telling you that you are too sensitive, you need to tell them to shut the heck up. 1. Number 2, if anybody is overly using you as an individual, where they're sucking all of the life and all of the time out of your world because they're using the fact that you're sensitive to use it against you so that you feel obligated to listen to their story, you can, without a doubt, not pick up the phone, cut the conversation at any time, not return text messages, not hang out with these people. You can even totally go cold turkey. I have literally left friends cold turkey, just stopped communicating with them altogether because it was just too much. I never called them. They called me maybe 2 or 3 times. I didn't answer, didn't text, and the conversation just severed just like that. Super freaking easy. You are capable of doing that if you need to. You need to start putting yourself first. Put yourself first. What is necessary for you as an individual, for you and your family as a unit, for you and your children as a unit? That all comes first. Any extra that comes off of that is you giving your energy. And you need to ask yourself whether or not you want to actually be doing that, or whether you're feeling obligated to do that because of your empathy. Because of your empathy. Do you actually want to be doing it, or are you feeling sensitive to the circumstance? Start taking a hold of that. Start really digging in deep and seeing where the ultimate foundation is. Is it something that you actually want to be doing, or is it something that you're feeling obligated to do? And are they using you because they know, oh, he's a nice guy. Oh, she's a nice girl. She'll do it for sure, 100%. She's one of those empaths, so you can get her to do anything or him to do anything. Not that they're necessarily talking like that, obviously, but that's the vibe that you're giving off, and they know that. They can see that. They can sense that. People who use people can sense the weakness, the empath in you. So you need to start using it in a more powerful, more confident manner, if that makes sense. So listen, I am right at 40 minutes. Today was fantastic. I truly hope you guys got some information about, or some really good information about this. Listen, this is what I want to say to you guys. I forgot what I was going to say to you guys, but I'm really, really excited for those of you that were able to join me. I am here on YouTube. I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter. Pretty much any platform. Sabrina Victoria TV. Make sure you give this a like. Make sure you share this. Make sure you subscribe to me if you're on YouTube, or if you're listening to my podcast right now. If you know any empaths in your life, share this with your empaths in your life so they can confidence and your self-esteem. Work on your confidence and your self-esteem. And then there is nothing. There is nobody more powerful than a confident empath. That should be a book. Maybe I will work on that. So I hope that you guys had a fantastic day. What did we kind of talk about today? We talked about empaths. We talked about empaths today. Tomorrow, I don't even know what I'm talking about tomorrow, but there's a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. So make sure you join me. If you have not found me on Facebook, find me on Facebook, Sabrina Victoria TV. If you haven't found me on YouTube, same, Sabrina Victoria TV. If you're listening to me on my podcast, find me in all the other avenues. There is always positivity pouring out of this channel. If you need more positivity, if you need more confidence, if you need more self-esteem, health in your life, be sure to follow and like. This is what I breathe, eat, and drink. Hope you all have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.